Now, I'm not a military man myself, but I've been known to throw a few Hawaiian punches into the mix when a crowd looks particularly parched for some vigilante action. Now, I'm not a wargamer, not in the traditional sense. I'm intimidated by my own inexperience. If I wanted to spend 13 hours losing an inevitable game, I would jump in a time machine and go back to 1998 and continue playing the game of Risk with my siblings that never ended. But Fort Circle Games might have piqued my interest with their offering of the Shores of Tripoli. Now, as a child of the 90s, much to the chagrin of Carmen Sandiego, I didn't end up much of a history buff or a geography buff. So when I initially saw the cover art for the Shores of Tripoli, I looked at the game and I saw the waves on it, and then one word stood out when I looked at those waves, and it's what I thought of the game. Swell. And I would say it wasn't until I played the game for maybe the 19th or 20th time that I realized, hey, I kind of like this a lot. As the name so conspicuously suggests, this game places you at the forefront of the war between the US in 1802 and Tripoli, a tense moment in our nation's early history that was filled with intrigue and action. I know this for a fact because it's printed on the game cards as well as the 2 additional pieces of historical literature included in the box. What this 2-player game boils down to is this. Tripoli wants to continue pirating for merchants and the US wants to stop all that. The game uses a card-based system. On your turn, you can play a card and do what it says, or discard it to take a team-specific action. The US can build gunboats to assist in military action or move their frigates. Tripoli, on the other hand, can build corsairs or try to pirate some gold. The US wins if they can meet one of 2 card-specific win conditions that heavily lean on military action, while the Tripoli player wins mostly by getting all 12 gold coins. They can also achieve victory in the event that the US fails their military endeavors, or by sinking 4 US frigates, which is no easy feat. At first glance, this history lesson in a box may seem to appeal only to homeschoolers and military enthusiasts. In my opinion, maybe do little to dissuade those optics as a K-12 homeschooler myself, but I implore you, I'm someone that's seen the world through the eyes of a retail employee. This is worth checking out. And especially appealing is the fact that the playtime is only about 45 minutes. The theme and arguably excessive, though by no means necessary, reading material are intimidating. The game itself is a breeze through the sails of your frigates. Each player has a small deck consisting of 27 cards, some of which are publicly visible throughout the course of the game. After a couple of games, you start to know the possibilities of what can happen. Constraint is either terrifying or pretty fun depending on who you ask, but in this instance, it's almost contradictorily freeing. You focus less on the mechanical workings of the game and more on the decisions of your opponent. But it's not as cold a theme as chess or Go. It offers a thematic, almost cinematic battlefield ripe with possibilities. You play your opponent just as much as you play the game, and figuring out their intended path to victory is nerve-wracking and exciting, but not that complicated. Each side plays differently, and the nuances of play emerge further after each game. There's a potential complaint to be had about the randomness in this game, and primarily because it features so many dice. But I'd argue that that is a feature and not a bug. The fog of war and the uncertainty of any given situation is a difficult thing to abstract in any tabletop game, so why even try? You can certainly mitigate some of the bad rolls through creative card play, but sometimes you can and do get hosed, and it's just part of the game. And to that same complaint, it's easier to win as the Tripoli player, but I don't care. 22 plays in and I'm still learning and I'm still enjoying every single play. There's an elegant simplicity to the action system that allows you to simultaneously feel as if you're making a leisurely decision while also juggling 13 squealing rats. It's a push and pull of tension and patience. It's a feeling that you need to do something, but maybe not yet. And in that sense, it's a game of poising and understanding that there is a decision to be made, but maybe not right now. Poising yourself for inevitable card draws and keeping the enemy's plans at bay is a thrill I thoroughly enjoyed experiencing. And you can too. While the physical production is stunning and something I highly recommend looking into getting, there's a free online version that you can play, and I'll link in the description below. And it's been the primary way that I have been able to play people from all over the country, all over the world, currently in a tournament right now. It's a fantastic implementation of the game and a great way to try it. And if I haven't convinced you to buy the Shores of Tripoli, I hope I've at the very least convinced you to give it a shot, because it's a game that's well worth your attention. And I really look forward to what Fort Circle Games has coming up next. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. As always, you can find me on social media, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that. Pretty much everything at Plumpy Thimble.